Simplicity is about subtracting the obvious and adding the meaningful. John Maeda. Let's jump into the charts. The S&P and the Nasdaq are down for the day along with Bitcoin. Gold and bonds are up. Let's jump first into the S&P 500. Now, I will tell you that we are bullish on stocks. We are bullish on gold and Bitcoin. And in fact, our bullishness, even after today's numbers, are actually staying the same or climbing. Those of you who subscribe, of course, you will get this in email form. For our Patreon members, you will, of course, get a day early till we release it to the public, our proprietary trading forms, our summary, our grid execution summary, all those things in our detailed analysis. It comes in your email every day. We also publish it at the Patreon page. If you're interested, excuse me, in getting the most updated material, you do that by being a Patreon member. And we appreciate all that. Let's see where we are with the S&P. You can see that we have a trend line here. We've gone into basically, another doji there, but look at all the volume that we see on the 2-day chart. In fact, we've had average volume going back many, many days as we've had this latest up move, approaching the prior high, and you can see where things are slowing down. Now, one of two things will happen with these dojis here. Lots of indecision, either digesting gains moving up, getting ready to bounce higher, or moving down. Our analysis is telling us right now we are still very steadily long, that is bullish. Again, things can change, but that is where we are right now. You can see we continue to be decently above, even with some down movement today, 0.85%, decently above that weekly trend line on both the half-day and the 2-day. As far as reaching a higher high this week, our last week our high was 605.06, 604.45. We've not hit a higher high. And again, a pullback today, but we continue to be bullish. Now let's look at where we are on the Nasdaq. It was down a little bit more, 0.98%. It also is even closer to the prior high of of all the way back in December and in February, mid-February. We've pushed up close to that, just a few cents away. Hit a high last week of 536.78. We look where we are this week, 535.37, so not hit that high. Volume's okay so far this week, decent on the 2-day, but again, you can see on the Nasdaq even closer, laying on that weekly trend line, and you can see on the half-day where we are sitting right there on it. So we are watching, but we're still very much bullish on the Nasdaq. So we shall, again, wait, watch, and see. I've got some alerts going off in my own mind when I see two dojis in a row. One of two things. Of course, with all that indecision, you're either going to see things spring up higher, or it's giving you a telltale sign of down movement. So we'll keep our eye on stocks in particular. And again, Trade Execution Summary Grid gives you all you need to know. And again, check it out, Patreon members. Now, what do we see going on with 20-year U.S. government bonds? Of course, last week, green spinning top. This week, another green spinning top with just a little bit of down wick. If I move to the side, don't let these dashes fool you. Always move over when you're looking at a particular candle, because those dashes can add to it and give you the wrong impression. Up 1.22%. Now, we were down strong for the last 2 days. Things didn't pop up in the morning as much as in the afternoon. Indecision in the morning, but popping up in the afternoon. Didn't quite get to average, but look what happened after 4 days of up movement. Ended up with a doji here. Not quite average volume on the 2-day chart. So we are still bullish when it comes, we are bearish when it comes to 20-year U.S. government bonds. We are still bearish even as we go into this second week of some sliding up movement. You will see in the analysis, Patreon members, how we describe that and why and what we see there as we run the numbers on this. So again, we'll continue to wait, watch, and see. I've not been excited about bonds since they hit that interim low and had us 2 dojis in a row, green spinning top last week, green spinning top this week. With that volume 2 weeks ago, we had hoped maybe to see it increase and see a green candle there. We didn't. Then decreasing volume last week. We'll see how this volume for this week goes. But again, bonds are struggling along. They're trying to get some momentum, but they still have a lot of weight of this prior down movement, pushing them down, and we are still bearish on them. Now, we are bullish on gold and Bitcoin. Gold up just a little bit for the day, 0.05%, moving in the direction we told you we thought gold would go. Now, when it reached its interim high last week of, 317.60, this week 314.87. We hadn't hit that high again. We hadn't had a lot of volume in gold going on the 4th week now. Comes to the weekly chart. That prior 2-day chart where things really popped up was decent volume, and this latest one not bad. Now, red doesn't mean negative volume. It means we opened lower than the prior close, and we didn't make that up. Volume's been okay until this afternoon. And again, you can see where things were down in the morning. Looks like gold recovered a little. Yeah, it did. It recovered in the afternoon to end up just 0.05 for pretty much flat for gold. We are still long gold, but we're in the 60s, okay, as far as percentages go. You can check out the trade summary grid to see the backtest numbers and the percentage probability over the next 5 days. Let's move on lastly to HODL, that is Bitcoin, the Bitcoin ETF. Got a doji this week. I mean, again, we hit the high of highs back on that week beginning the 19th of May. And then the next week lower, trying to pop up last week, and this week sort of dudding out on us so far. 2-day chart, finished drawing, is sitting right there on the weekly trend line, and we've passed through it on the half day as it pushed through in the morning and in the afternoon, down 3.61%. We are still, though, bullish on Bitcoin. Now, again, those percentages aren't high. I've been complaining about that over the last couple of weeks as, again, just a little bit more than a coin toss. I like 80+% and a nice 80+% back test accuracy, which is, of course, we've been seeing those numbers for many weeks on the S&P and the NASDAQ 100. And again, we spell all that out in the trade execution summary grids. Thank you so much, my friends. We always love to hear from you. Again, Patreon members, I urge you to go through the email. If you can't find your email today for some reason or don't have access to it, just go to the Patreon site for Charting Wealth. And of course, you will see there the entire layout of the analysis predictions, execution instructions, and of course, the grid. Now, please keep in mind, we're not a stock calling service. We're an education firm. We don't make Bitcoin, gold, bond calls. We want you to practice trade with us to learn by doing. Practice trading doesn't cost you a thing. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth.